Hey, everybody. Welcome to Move You Podcast. Hey, today I'm here with a very special guest. His name is Abe Al-Baba.
Yeah, means the daddy.
Really?
Fun fact, I swear.
That is awesome. Oh, that's a really good one.
I know.
It means the daddy?
Yeah, El, which is A-L
Yeah.
in Arabic. El means the, and
Yeah.
Baba, it's like daddy.
Al-Baba the daddy?
The daddy, Abe the daddy.
Do you have a shirt that says that?
No,
It might be too much. It might be too much.
It might be too much.
Yeah, it might be
Let's
too
not scare anyone off.
You can reveal that card a little bit later.
Yeah, later. We'll keep it in the back pocket.
So, guys, I got Abe here today, and Abe and I go back, I don't know, maybe 3 years or so.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I was telling Martine, I run into you. This seems like everywhere.
I know, right?
I'm just
Same bubble.
I'm always running into you. I'm at a party, I run into you.
Yeah.
At Fit, I run into you.
Working out, yeah.
Yeah, Katie throws a little event. You're over there too.
Yeah.
And we just started. We've been chatting, in little bits about what you do. And I got you on here today because I think that my audience, I think that you can maybe help in little areas that I'm not too familiar with. Neuroscience.
He's doing all right, people.
Hey, in other areas. I got my strengths. I like biomechanics. I got this overall fix your shit mindset, right?
I love it.
Fix it. It's your body knows what it's going to do for you. Mm-hmm. And then you combine that with body alignment and this and that. I kind of like that's my little niche right there. But you got into some more of the neuroscience, the brain chemistry, hormones, neurostimulations that can reduce pain. Yeah, but
we like that.
I do get annoyed when people are always eliminate pain, because it's such a continuum. It's
oh, right.
with body alignment. Okay, you align yourself, and then you build your confidence up. Pain reduces as a result. You know what I mean? You take it, and I'm sure you'll see that between pain and then performance. Is there a continuum as well with
100%?
Yeah.
Every day is different.
Yeah, every day is different.
Our stress levels are different, and that's all going to affect. We'll talk about output, and output's what we care about, the performance, cognitive, physical, or the pain. Really, what do you want me to start saying today?
Well, that's
what do you like to say?
Well, I'm instantly ready to jump into. You're talking about your input. You're talking about the brain input, and I know this is something you said. Maybe we should give them a little. Why don't you give them a little rundown about maybe who you are, and then we could dive into maybe your background and kind of what you do for a living.
All right, sure. So pretty much my background was sports. I did football, wrestling, lacrosse all throughout high school, college lacrosse, and then boxing and kickboxing. So sports is my jam.
Yeah.
Then I found out there's a major on exercising. I was like, wait, what? There's a major on. So my freshman year, I was undecided. And by sophomore year, I declared exercise science. So then became a trainer, did all that, moved out here, started learning from some of the best people. And
wait, that was Carolina?
All right. So North Carolina, exercise science. I wanted to learn from the best. And I had a brother out here in San Diego, so I was like, let me go out there. They're ahead. We were just talking about, West Coast, California being 15, 20 years ahead of where everyone else is as far as health and wellness. So I came out here and met this guy who trained pro athletes, and he was like, man, that guy, his level, he's like a molecular oncologist now.
He did a 180. He changed it.
Dude,
well.
He's nuts, but super smart guy. And he would mention brain stuff. I'd be like, wait, what do you mean? And he'd be like, too much to explain. I was like, all right. So he kind of planted that seed of the brain and trying to look for something that's, I don't know, out there, but really science based and really getting people fast results. So saw a guy doing that vision drills when I worked at Fit.
Vision drills.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? He was doing, he was probably doing pencil push-ups. So exercising the eyes. So pretty much stare at your thumb, bring it in, push it out. So we're doing different things. When you bring the eyes in, that's convergence. When they come out, that's divergence.
And what do those two things do?
Oh, man. So you were familiar with flexor tone, right?
No.
So right. So flex your bicep.
Oh, just basic flexor tone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So each side we got right and left, and we have to increase flexor tone when we do certain exercises or even you lifting up that drink, right? And then we need to balance the extensor tone on the other side, right?
Sure.
So sometimes, maybe if you look at screens all day, you're not using your eye muscles as much. So maybe you need to increase your flexor tone, and different cranial nerves are responsible for that. So this is one of them, cranial nerve 3. So when I pull my eyes in like that, boom, I stimulate that part of the brain, which can help facilitate flexor tone.
Interesting. Well, because I talk to my audience in regards to reciprocal inhibition. Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, very similar, right? If somebody's in hyperextension of their back, well, they're going to have their extensors are overly fired, and then their abdominal flexors, the rectus and TVA, are generally weak. So I tend to talk to it in that way. And see, I think this is one reason I'm also interested in, and it's because chiropractic neurology is an emerging field too. And I see them doing eye exercises, and I really don't understand fully why. So you're saying with flexor tone right off the bat, you're saying by doing like convergence, divergence.
Yeah, stare at that finger, bring those eyes in. Yeah. Hone in on that finger.
All right. So when we're doing this thing right here, you're saying this can actually change the muscle tone throughout your body?
Not only that, it can affect the pain levels, right? So if I have pain when my spine flexes, like touching my toes, right? Maybe I have a decrease of flexor tone that my brain needs more information from. I can maybe hit that drill and improve my pain relief, because now my brain has better information, better input for doing this given drill.
So you're saying something like this, convergence, can increase, it will increase flexor tone. All my flexors?
It depends. Yes. I mean, in a nutshell, because so we're doing bilateral, like both eyes. And so that's going to help control a flexor tone, increase the flexor tone on both sides. So yeah, that's going to go through all your muscles.
Give the audience a little, here's something I learned. If you stand in an anatomical position, right? Palms out forward. Flexing is pretty much everything towards your heart. So flex your elbow. You pull your knee up. That's hip flexion. You pull your chin down to your heart. That's going to be neck flexion. So flexion is things towards the heart, and extension is things away from the heart. A couple exceptions to that. I'm sure all my nerds out there, well, actually, there is the dorsiflexion, which is this.
Look, full disclosure, everything we're about to talk about is oversimplified.
Yeah, right.
Especially neurology. Holy crap.
Jeez, even oversimplification still makes my eyes cross.
Yeah, right. Pun intended.
So you got this flag. This is already interesting right off the bat. So flexor tone. But now I would say, like most people, if they're on their phones all day, right, they're tending to be in a flex state.
Right.
So would I want to turn my tone? How do I turn extensor tone on?
It's in the pawns, man.
The fucking pawns?
God, this guy.
You're like the Price is Right. It's in the pawns. You need a pawns right here. How do I turn the pawns on?
Okay, so we're getting ahead, but you have this thing called the brain stem. So it's like the stem of your brain, all right? And we're going to split that into two pieces, the right and left, and we're going to split that into thirds. The top is going to be the midbrain and mesencephalon, okay? So that's cranial nerves 3 and 4.
Okay.
That's going to involve that flexor tone. Then you got the pons, cranial nerves 5 through 8.
Okay.
And that's going to involve extensor tone. So that's going to be things like biting. So anyone that's had dental work, I'm actually really intrigued on how that trigeminal nerve's doing, and that's going to involve extensor tone. 6 is when you pull the eye out, abducens. So real life application, I'll be working out with a client, right? Oh, I have pain, and we're doing maybe a movement where we're extending one of the muscles. And I'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. So before me like trying a million things to fix the pain, I'm like, hey, well, look right while you do it. How does that feel? Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay, keep looking to the right. Because what we do, let's say we wanted to fix extensor tone on the right side, looking right abducens.
Is it going to be, right side?
Ipsilateral,
it's
same side. Yeah.
Okay, it's same side on that. Interesting. Right would activate my right extensors. Left would activate my left extensors.
Right.
So basically, if somebody were, let's say they have pain when they touch their toes or bend, okay? And then we were like, well, let's try to turn on the extensors. Well, if I'm trying to turn both on, am I just going to go back and forth? Or can I can't diverge my eyes. I'm like a fucking cow.
Welcome to neurology.
Well, I can try. Wait.
Yep. Welcome to neurology. So a lot of this relies in your health history and really pinpointing what's the actual issue. Because all day, every day, whenever we do this, we just need to counterbalance. So is the issue I don't have enough here, or is the issue, I don't have enough extensor tone relaxing, like the reflexive part? So that's where health history and like figuring out, oh, this person had 10 root canals in their mouth, and like then I test trigeminal nerve and there's no sensation on that side. It's like, all right, that's probably a place I want to start.
Oh, interesting. So, wait, hold on here. So we've got the trigeminal nerve. Trigeminal is number 5. Ooh,
my
ooh,
man.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
My man.
I'm slow with it. I have a mnemonic.
No, that's awesome. You got that.
So yeah, trigeminal number 5. Okay. And so number 5, you're saying, is going to be above.
In the pons.
That's the top. That's above.
Middle. Midbrain.
Yep.
Pons. Medulla.
Oh yeah. Above the. Oh, you're calling the brain stem has 3 areas of the stem.
Yes. Midbrain.
Yeah.
Pons. Medulla.
So I guess, how do you know though? Like when you say, like, let's say I'm trying to get some right extensor tone. Maybe for, let's just say someone has weak, maybe overdevelopment of their left erector in their low back. Okay. And they're trying to get, let's just say pain aside, they're trying to get some more activation on the right side. I would have them go into like, okay, add a little right rotation, add extension here, like add a side bend here. That'll do it. But
that's great.
What you're saying though is that, like, okay, if we're going to use our abducens right here.
Yeah, you got it. 6.
7.
Abducens.
6.
7 is going to be facial.
2 touch. Yeah, 6.
Oh,
okay,
let's go to 7. Let's get weird with it.
Facial.
All right, because that's still going to be extensor tone, because it's 5 through 8.
Facial is going to be a lot of my expression muscles, right?
So guess what we're going to do?
Smile.
What would you say, left side? Smile on the left side, two-face. Two-face.
Well, if I was doing the right side.
Right side. Yeah, right side, two-face.
Okay, so you're saying the right side. So maybe there's something to it when people naturally.
Right.
Oh. Yeah, like you're trying to get something, and you're like,
Oh. That's you subconsciously trying to solve the problem, right?
Interesting. Sometimes the brain's pretty smart. You're pretty smart. You kind of figure it out. Okay, so my point I was making was, you got so my mnemonic is for the cranial nerve. I'm so slow with it. It's
that's okay.
Ooh, to touch and feel. Victoria's glorious vagina, all heaven. And so then I've got to then. So 6, I gotta go through that mnemonic. Then I stop there. They gotta.
Yeah.
But I think there's 3 O's, so I can get a little olfactory.
Olfactory. What was this one? Pulling the finger in.
Olfactory, oculomotor, optical, ocular. No, hold on. Ooh.
You're almost there. Cranial nerve 2. You're right. You're right there. Optic.
Olfactory. Oh. Optic. So for you guys that don't know cranial nerves, we have 12 of them, and what they are is most of your nerves in your body. They go down through your brain. They start in your brain. They go down through your spinal cord. Then they leave as a nerve, and then they come outwards, right? But you've got 12 special ones that actually start in the brain, and then they can go downward or outward from the brain. So they never use the spinal cord as like a commute. They never use it as like a highway system. So they're independent of it. And so many symptoms that people might get, like I've seen people with Bell's palsy improve doing cranial nerve work. And I think we might get into some of those neurological conditions.
Yes. And one of my favorite sayings, nerves that are wired together, fire together. So if you're 5, maybe it's so threatened, like from lots of dental work, maybe it's when you work on it, you actually have a negative response. It increases the pain. So that just means like, all right, too strong of a signal. We're not ready for this. But you know what? We can work on 6. We can work on 4 to help get 5 healthier.
So we could have a nerve that's actually overstimulated. So an overstimulated nerve, maybe a trigeminal nerve, overstimulated.
Hypo or hyper?
Let's say hyper.
Right.
What does that cause to the tone of the extensors on the right?
Hyper, over, so it would be right trigeminal, so over extension on everything.
Oh.
Right. As a one way to, the brain's interesting in solving problems right now versus 5 minutes from now, 5 years from now. It's like, my number one job is to survive, and I need to survive right now. So that's this is how we're going to fix it.
So how would you like, if there was an overactivity of the trigeminal from dental work. How do you? What are some techniques to reduce to like deactivate, de-innervate,
just whatever. Fill in the blank.
Yeah, fill in the blank.
So it's a nerve. We do have a nerve glide for that. It's a neuromechanic drill. So nerves, you could put tension on it, or we can slack it. So that'd be one of my ideas, to slack it, make it less tight, less tension on it. Okay. And or work on 4 or 6.
Work on the surround, whatever's close to there.
Yeah. So 4 is going to be pulling the eye down and in. So maybe a vision drill like this, bringing it to the tip of your nose, because the eyeball's got to come in and down. Yeah.
So
that's the trochlear.
How's this measured though? Like, okay, we're talking about the extensor tone. Like is this measured, or how has this been like proven or theorized that this works?
So it's anatomy, right? So we know that, this is the bicep and this is where it's located and this is what the bicep does.
Sure.
Same thing. This is the cranial nerve, and this is what it does.
Because I've never been told that,
I know.
Even taught in school.
I know.
Maybe I did, but maybe I wasn't paying attention that day. Maybe a lot of days I would have to miss for that one. That the cranial nerves, that a cranial nerve, like when we're taught about the trigeminal nerve, it's very facial related.
It's a huge nerve, yeah. Right? Facial, dental. So it's responsible for sensations on the face. So one way you could test your trigeminal nerve right now.
Yeah.
Close your eyes, and then what I'm going to do is, without yanking on the mic, Mike, does this feel the exact same as this?
One more time.
And if they say one more time, probably not.
It feels pretty good.
Okay.
It
should feel the exact same. We're going to go another spot. So here and here. Do those feel the exact same?
They do on me.
And then here and here.
Those feel the same.
Good. So that's one test. And then we could test the masseters on both sides. So you could clench the jaw and, hey, how's the contraction on both sides?
We might as well talk about TMJ right now.
Right. We're already there.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Before that, we got, when I say testing it, like we're taught the trigeminal nerve, it leaves the brainstem, right? And then it innervates these facial structures. And it's like a there and back trail. Mm-hmm. But like, how is that connected to my extensor tone?
All right. We got way ahead of ourselves.
Did we though?
So, that's how these combos go. So let's back it up to like Neuro 101. All right. So all day, understand every single thing we've done and experienced in life is brain derived. Whether that's, when people think brain, we're always thinking like cognitive stuff, but you sipping that water and picking it up, that was your brain that made that happen.
Right. Okay.
Q, drink your water, stay hydrated. So that's number one. Number two, what does the brain need to, survive? It needs two things. It needs fuel, and we can branch out fuel with oxygen, or gas exchanges between oxygen and CO2, and fuel from glucose, from sugar, from nutrients, but really mainly glucose. So when people say they're like, oh, I'm going on a no sugar diet. Really? How are you alive? Like, but fats, proteins, they can convert to sugar. But anyway, that's the whole thing. So we got fuel and then activation, something telling it what to do. Now we have a brain feeding pattern involved in that activation. So when we think of neuroanatomy, it starts from bottom to top, back to front. So if you think about the neuroanatomy, the brain stem is first.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so you're talking about order of activation.
Yes. So now, whenever I have someone with pain, thinking about this activation, this feeding pattern, it hits your sensory cortex before the motor cortex. So quite simply, if you don't feel things well, you probably won't move them well or have pain with them. So I'm always curious, let's say you have pain in your elbow, right? So I'm always like, my first go-to, hey, does this feel like this? So you want to make sure all parts above and below the elbow is our sensory online.
We're
just to rule that out.
In school, we're taught, hey, sensory is the first thing to go, but you could have no sensory but still have good motor. What I'm hearing you say is if we have reduced sensory, we usually have reduced motor.
Why? Because of the feeding pattern.
Because the sensory now, we got our pathway that's going to go, let's say we're touching the elbow, it's going to go up here to the brain stem. If it's not
yes.
if it's not a reflex, it'll go to the brain stem, right?
Yes, yes.
And then something.
It goes, here you go. Bam.
Oh, what is this?
That. Bam, bam.
Oh, nice.
Feeding pattern.
Oh.
So brain stem's right here.
Pattern.
Yeah.
It goes up to the brain stem, and then it goes forward to the lobes.
Yeah.
And the lobes, maybe the frontal lobe is going to be more of like your motor.
Yeah.
And then your parietal.
And the sensory's in there too. It's in this like little pocket over here.
Oh, okay. Got
Yeah.
it. Is frontal motor?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure sensory is neurology. There's going to be parietal and then some frontal. Like it all freaking overlaps.
Okay,
but
got it.
Main takeaway, sensory before motor. So before you do anything else with pain, that at least that's what I do, hey, how's the sensation? And a lot of the times that gets people at least to move better. Maybe not pain-free, but moving way better.
Is by doing what?
Getting that sensory back online. So let's say Mike had some right elbow pain.
Or some numbness. Maybe a common one. Maybe arm numbness.
Yeah.
Arm sciatica. People love sciatica for some reason.
Love that.
They
sciatica.
love that word. Everyone thinks they have it. They all want it. I don't know what it is.
I tell people when I was first learning this stuff, I thought sciatic was one nerve. But from what I understand, you could probably more detail than I am, but it's a huge tree with a ton of branches.
Yeah, L4, L5, S1, S2
and then
converge to create the common name that we have, sciatic. It's just the common name of all. But really, it's a combination of 4 or 5 different spinal levels. It's like a 5-lane highway, but it's like a 5-lane highway, but they're all double yellows between.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and then there's like little individual branches. That go. Yeah.
You got like common peroneal, you got tibial.
Yes, your tibial, your common peroneal.
Sural.
Shit.
What else is in there?
I guess
the femoral part of it? No, right? Anyway.
I'm definitely better with my spinal level innervation than I have been with the name. Remembering names has always been fucking tough.
It's okay. What we care about is getting you out of pain.
Oh, the point is,
it doesn't even matter.
So the sensation. Someone's got arm sciatica. Okay.
Yes, arm sciatica.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like the first goal of this. They go, you know what? They just feel tingling through here. They feel tingling. And, we could take it back to a level. Maybe it's thoracic outlet syndrome. Maybe there's some pec minor issue. Sure. Maybe there's some impingement of the nerve root and cervical. Sure. But you're saying, can you explain about the sensory side?
Yeah. So just to rule this in or out to help someone get out of pain, hey, if we got some numbness, hey, let's test it. All right, it's numb from here to here, but I feel it there. All right, let's make sure you know what it feels like, what it's supposed to feel like on the other side. Okay, cool. Many different ways I can tackle this, but for one, rub the crap out of that area. 30 seconds to a minute, and then reassess. Big part of my process, biggest thing I got out of this curriculum that I learned a lot of this stuff from was Z-Health, and it was assess, reassess. Because if we're not assessing, we're guessing. So if you want to reassess and like, oh, I feel it a little bit more, but nothing great. Okay, cool. Can we do vibration? Can we do pokey? Nociceptive. And then that's all that way of doing it right on it. Or when I touch you here, what part of the lobe is getting fired up? Your left parietal lobe.
I'm contralateral here.
Yes, contra on that. All cranial nerves are ipsi, but most of everything else
is... So you guys, ipsilateral means the same size.
Side.
Contralateral means the opposite side.
Yes.
So basically, if there's stimulation here, it actually crisscrosses and goes to the left side of my brain.
You got it.
But if I'm looking my eyes to the right, if I'm like trying to stimulate my extensors or flexors, it's same side.
Yes, so and that would be cranial nerve work, which is in brainstem. So that's going to be same side. Welcome to neurology. So back to solving this issue. I actually just did this with a client virtually. He had computer guy, works on a computer a lot, had wrist pain. And what was one of our drills? We did a smooth pursuit, which is where you track an object moving to the left and close our eyes, come back center. What the heck are we doing here? We are firing up left parietal lobe.
So right now, okay, so the neurological or the neurology methodology to treatment, right, is what you're saying right now is why would we work on eye movement for sensory loss?
Right. So, boom, my loss of sensations,
Okay.
left parietal lobe,
Okay.
possibly not doing its job. So let's stimulate
the
lobe
left parietal
with a smooth pursuit to the left.
So a smooth pursuit.
So whenever you see Abe at the gym doing a bunch of weird things, just understand I'm not just doing it. Good, but keep that head still. So it's only the eyes, and then close the eyes, come back center to isolate that part of the brain.
So I'm gonna share a story about why this is, and some of you guys go, "Why this sounds crazy." Back in the year 2008, that's when I worked that's when I was a chiropractic student. I was in the chiropractic rehabilitation center, and there was a technique that many were practicing. It was called like Voita or DNS. And so I was in there working that day, and I watched a guy with Bell's palsy, basically a huge drooping face. I watched him come in. I saw the face, and they were doing different eye movements and different crawl patterns, like
crawl patterns too.
And
nice.
they were doing different crawl patterns with eye movements. I watched his face return. I go, that.
Nuts.
I'd never seen that in my life. I saw it with my eyes, and from that day forward, I go, okay,
something to this.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't really dig into that, and I still haven't yet to this day get into it. But so I've seen it and witnessed it with my own eyes. And chiropractic neurology and other neurology. I mean, it's relatively emerging. I mean, even if it's 20, 30 years.
I mean, super new.
You figure the healthcare medical profession itself is, decades behind. So what happens now, won't be in mainstream for another 20, 30 years, Seriously. 40 years even. It's so slow.
That's why I try to tell people. It's like what I'm doing now is probably where chiropractic was 30 years ago.
Oh man.
It's like, oh, who's that weird guy? You're cracking? Oh my God.
Here's
that's
even more
crazy.
I'll give you even bigger timeline. The first first chiropractic adjustment was 1897.
Oh wow.
The documented one, right? There's been manipulation before that. And it didn't get accepted as a profession until 1980. So
1980.
There you go, the timeline. 80 years.
I thought 30 years. Maybe I'm 100 years away.
It's crazy, but things take so long. Even look at Joseph Pilates. Joseph Pilates died at 85, 87 years old. His whole studio, he had 50 members in the studio, and he died. He left nothing, $500 to his wife. It wasn't until 2030.
I did not know that.
It's a great book. You'll love it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's called The Caged Lion. He thought he died prematurely. He died of pneumonia. But so he left, and then the 50, 60 members in there go, let's try to keep this thing going. And so they kept it going, and it wasn't until, Pilates really hit mainstream when would you say? He died in, I think, he came to the United States in 1925.
Wow.
I think he died in 60.
I'd say being generous, probably the 80s.
80s, right? Being generous. So 60. So that was 30 years, but Pilates now is pretty strong. So that was, being generous.
Yeah.
I think it's way later in the 80s.
Yeah.
It became more mainstream.
I was trying to think 80s, step aerobics, Pilates coming around, maybe even night. Yeah.
I think more like early 2000s. It
became
more mainstream.
Yeah, more mainstream.
Recommended by doctors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're talking 40, 50 years.
Later,
and so many people, what they'll do is they'll tend to rely on, what their doctor says. Well, their doctor might realistically be gathering data that's old.
Yeah.
And so a lot of this newer age stuff that like you're doing right now is the future.
Yeah.
And so people have the opportunity to get in it right now. And I think the problem though that exists with the neurology is it's because
so out of the box.
It's really complex
to other people.
Yeah,
it's
it is
out of the box. But for me, doing that smooth pursuit to the left to fix your sensory on the right side totally makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Left. So right now. So basically what I'm hearing is, let's try to repeat this, is that we have a loss of sensory here. That's going to be the parietal lobe, contralateral side.
Yes.
Left side. So then I'm now going to try to stimulate
your left parietal lobe.
Stimulate the left parietal lobe. Yeah. And one way to do that
it.
Is going to be through using is this abducens?
Yeah, it'll be left abducens, and this is where neurology gets crazy because we're hitting cranial nerve stuff on the left side, but we're also hitting lobe and cortices on the left side. So
what lobe?
That one's going to be parietal lobe. And actually, there's left cerebellum in there, too.
Oh, I see. Right. It's not just like, primary. We're doing this. You got maybe the most stimulation of one area, but it's like the body. If you try to do a movement, you got extensors, but you also have hamstring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, though, people, what's key is assess, reassess. Because he doesn't care about fixing his left parietal lobe. What do you care about?
People care about
getting out of pain.
They care about getting out of pain. Really,
right?
People I think should be caring about restoring, like improving their actual biomechanics and utilizing their full range of motion that they have in there. That's what I think a better goal should be.
Absolutely.
Because if you focus on pain, you're really trying to get these shortcuts to get there. But now, let's keep going. So let's say somebody has weakness now. Whatever it's from, a disc herniation, whatever. No, but say they got weakness, maybe in these two digits here, like C5, C6.
Yeah.
Weakness.
So
that'd be a frontal. Left frontal.
So strength. All right. Do we want to go into this? Wiggle that hand for me.
Which one?
Right hand. All right. You want me to break this down? So Mike's left premotor cortex, which is in the frontal lobe, was like, oh, snap. Abe just told me to move my right hand. Yeah. So that left premotor is like, I need a plan. Like I'm pre-deciding to make this decision. So then it sends that to the same side basal ganglia on the left side. And it's like, hey, dude, we need a plan. And the basal ganglia is like, all right, let me put a plan together. That basal ganglia is like your architect on that side. So then the basal ganglia puts together the plan. It's like, all right, we need to figure out like this much contraction. We need to, bring up this tone, all these different things. And then that basal ganglia sends that plan back to the motor side, the left frontal lobe, and is like, all right, here's the plan. Frontal lobe's like, great, got the plan. Here you go, right cerebellum, who outputs the whole movement, right? And the cerebellum's like the manager. It's like, all right, cool. Let me see this plan you got. And he's like, all right, is this accurate though? Are we balanced? Are we coordinated? I want to make sure that we don't, miss my, like if you're feeding yourself, miss your mouth.
Oh, because there's strength. There's also the coordination aspect of it.
So the cerebellum's a manager that's going to detect error. And not only that, fix the error.
Okay, we got a little stimulation of someone with arm sciatic on the right.
Yeah.
Stimulate the left side. But then they have weakness in this grip. So, okay, what are some things that people could do to stimulate?
So
to stimulate the
there can be a nerve glide on that side. So if we're thinking peripheral nerves, so if it's flexors, you're going to think radial.
Maybe not nerve glide. Maybe we're thinking more
brain
neurological.
Stuff,
yes.
Right? So actually, I don't know if you do this, but we could go spinal cord 2, sensory work on the spinal cord, right? So if my spinal cord, because that's like a nerve that's sending like numbness, tingling, all those different things.
Yeah, it's like C5, C6.
Yeah. So I would throw some vibration over there, maybe some brush the skin over there.
Just stimulate the actual area.
That it's coming off of. But also numbness, tingling. One idea, so this is in the fingers. What's opposite of the fingers? It would be the toes. And the opposite side, it's going to be the left. So maybe we do some extensor work on the opposite side. And when you do that, when you do movement on the left side, you're going to hit your right PMRF. And your right PMRF is the part of your body that controls or inhibits pain on that same side.
Oh, interesting. Now you're talking direct inhibition of pain.
Yeah.
We're not talking about stimulating an area. We're talking about maybe stimulating an area. Because as I know, pain is like pain. You have pain fibers, C fibers, right? Slow moving.
Sure. Yeah.
They take their own
mechanoreceptors.
They take their own path. They got their own one lane road up of sensory. So you're talking about. So I guess then it'll be okay. Let's just say this pain. People will just want this area to like stop hurting or hurt less.
Yeah. What can they do about that?
Yeah. What can they do about that?
So we talked about opposite joint movement, right? So maybe they need to do some foot ankle work on the left side. Maybe they broke their foot 10 years ago and they never fully rehabbed it, and that's still an issue, so that we increase the activity over there. It'll communicate with this right PMRF, and that right PMRF is controlling or inhibiting pain on that side.
Let me oversimplify this.
Yeah.
Left weakness in my left hand, stimulate my right foot.
Good. Yes.
Okay. Then I got maybe left thigh, left hamstring pain. Stimulate my right bicep.
Could be.
Or left tricep.
Yeah. So hamstring, you're going to think opposite. So
tricep.
Right. So tricep. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It makes perfect sense to me.
Left glute pain.
I think more joints too, but yes.
So the glute is like the shoulder.
Yeah. So joint wise, wrist, hand, foot, ankle.
Yeah.
Elbow, knee. Shoulder, hip. Coccyx, I think neck.
What about spine?
Yeah.
What about the spine? Is there anything there?
So spine, upper thoracic, lower.
Right. Just oppose the area. Cervical spine, lumbar spine.
Yep. So those are some different ways. So I want everyone to take away some concepts here.
Yeah, please.
So all day, every day, your brain is getting in information or input, okay? What it's doing is interpreting it, deciding what to do with it, and then signaling an output. Output's what you care about, people. It's your pain levels. I'm going to just stay on the pain topic. So if we think about that, and it's trying to answer one question: am I going to die? Is it safe? Because that's what we are wired to survive. So basically, based on the information I got, am I going to die? And based on that information is how well I'm going to have an output, either increased or decreased pain signaling and or performance. So I'm going to put it like this, where you're in a car and you're trying to get A to B. All right. So how fast you get A to B, if you got low air in your tires, you got a crack in the windshield, and you're trying to get to B, chances are your foot's going to hover around that brake pedal. You're not going to get there as fast. Versus I look at your car, I'm like, dude, your air's low. Like, let's pump some air in there. Let's fix the crack in the windshield. And now all of a sudden your car's running more smoothly and you're getting to point B, and you're not on that brake pedal. You're more on that gas pedal. So that's kind of what the inputs are, the input systems. It's like that air in the tire. It's like the crack in the windshield.
What are those equivalent to? What are some of those? What are some of those factors that are equivalent to that that restrict or reduce people's ability?
So we got input systems, and there's 3 of them. So your exteroception, that's your senses on what this external environment is, sensing smell, sight. Sight alone's 150 million neural signals every second. You got touch. That's our exteroception. Then you got proprioception, something you're doing amazing at, right? That's your body's awareness in space, how well you move your joints. That's 9 to 30 million signals per second.
That's a key. That's probably the key area for MoveU.
Yes, absolutely. But also then there's interoception. So that's your body's awareness inside internally. So things like autonomics, respiration, and then also like your digestion, everything going on in the gut.
Like proprioception, for example, if your proprioception is low proprioception,
right,
and you would utilize some of these.
When he says low proprioception, maybe like lack of mobility, right? You're restricted. Joints are stiff.
Yes. You would say that right there, and then you would apply some of these brain exercises. The results would be slower, because that area is like a flat tire.
Yeah.
Is that what we're...
Right, yeah.
Okay,
that's one way.
One way, sure.
One of many. So, and then one more part of that interoception is something you're doing awesome with the painting on the body, really giving people a visual of how their muscle actually works and connecting with their muscles on a much, much deeper level. You have a saying for it. What is it called?
Fix your shit.
Fix your shit. No, but it was like something like... on them connecting with their muscles and awareness of their muscles and how it moves. I saw it on the website.
Oh, are you talking about a term, positional presence?
Bam.
Yeah.
That's interoception. So that's another amazing thing that you're doing for people to get out of pain. So that awareness really helps with them. So basically, if we have poor input from any of these systems, it's going to affect our overall output.
Right. Got it. And like you said, digestion too. And I know
digestion can be a part of that.
It's a big topic for you, and that's one of your like threefold approaches, right? Is hitting that in there.
Yeah. I wrote a book on nutrition, went down a very, very deep rabbit hole with that. Took about 5 years, but got a lot on that.
What's the name of that book?
Fuel Your Performance.
Okay.
And performance is anything.
Where can they get it?
You can get it on my website, on Amazon, like all kinds of things.
Fuel Your Performance. Okay.
Yes. But another analogy, so we got our good input for better output. Good on that?
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to put all your life stress into this water bottle. So when I say stress, people are thinking about emotions. They might be thinking about relationship, family, work, and that thing's probably already filling up, right? But on top of that, if I have input problems, let's say through eyesight, because I stare at my computer all day, these are 6 extraocular muscles in our eyes. So if I'm looking at computer all day, I'm not using them. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So the muscle gets weak. So that could be, really contributing to the threat or stress as well. Any of these input problems. So now you add.
Can you simplify that last input one more time?
Yeah. Okay. So on top of our emotional stress, boom, let's say this is already filled up. Now, if I have poor eyesight, because it's part of those main input systems that your brain calculates information from, knowing if I'm going to survive or not. Let's say I have bad eyesight, that's going to significantly contribute to my stress.
I see.
Right.
And when I'm also thinking eyesight, like I guess people are, if it's healthy for us to react and to move.
Think about survival perspective, right? I definitely need to see so I can run away from the bear.
Right.
Right. I need to know how far it is, how to judge the depth perception.
I gotta remind you, I got these pods. These those pods that
yeah, that's great.
What are those things called?
Yeah. Blaze pod.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a set of those. I haven't used those yet.
Great for reaction, stuff like that. Different. I'm talking about like isolating the muscle, but that's awesome.
That's more of like global.
Yeah, and that's super fun too. I love that. So anyway, so these little input systems that can really contribute significantly to our overall stress. Because again, 150 million neural signals every second from the visual system, 9 to 30 million from our joints. So when this thing fills up and it's spilling out the seams and all going over this table, we're going to experience increased pain levels, decreased performance, even contributions to disease and cancers and things like that. So when you're talking about fix your shit, what he's really talking about is emptying this stress in your water bottle.
Well, so what are when you talk about stress in the water, are we talking about everything that we've talked about, and then we're talking about the inputs? We're talking about digestive. We talked about the proprioception,
interoception, exteroception, sight, balance, any of those things. Now, what the key here is that we want to figure out the lowest hanging fruit, right?
Right, lowest hanging fruit, okay. Or maybe the one that's just the one that is contributing to filling the bottle up the most.
Right?
Yes.
And so you got to think about things that are happening all day, every day, and that's why these input systems can have a really profound effect.
Do you have a list of those, though? We name most of them? Like, what are the input, the primaries?
Interoception, exteroception, proprioception.
Interoception, again, is?
Interoception is your body awareness inside, your autonomics, your respiration, your digestion, how your muscles feel, your connection to your muscles, even thermoregulation. Exteroception is your senses. The way I put it, quite simply, you need to sense well, you need to move well, you need to feel well. Those are my 3.
And the feeling is more on the emotional side of things.
Emotional side, but also digestion, respiration. That's
feeling.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
how
that
body
interoception.
Feels.
Right.
Wow. The interlinkage of this even continues to build. I used to think with back pain back in the day, and I think this is maybe a common thing. It's like, back, and it's just like, okay, let's sometimes it's even focus on the disc herniation itself. And then it's like, oh no, the whole lumbar spine is affected. Then you go, oh wait, that misalignment lumbar spine, there's a compensation in thoracic spine. There's a compensation in the hip as a result. And then oh wait, that's a compensation in the head to the toe. And so there's that. And then now you're like, oh wait, hold on. There's also the interlinkage of these what do we call these one more time? The
input systems.
The input systems as well. Globals.
Yeah. So think of it as better input for better output to decrease your stress in your water bottle.
How will people know which one is the most?
Testing. Health history really points to. So I have, like, when I meet someone for the first time, I go through a pretty extensive health history. It gives me an idea of what areas of the brain to start and test.
What if they can't see you? Some will see you, but maybe the people that can't.
I do virtual. I do virtual stuff. Yeah, all the time. But yeah, there's self-test. Do
you have any of those available right now on your website or anything?
Yeah, so I have like an online program, and within that online program, I have all my neuro tests that they could do.
They could help them, basically. It helps them identify maybe the elephant in the room.
Right.
And then gives them a strategy on how to fucking chop off the legs and chop up that elephant into smaller, compress it, compact the elephant.
Yes. So yeah, at the end of the day, to fix your pain, just keep relating it back to stress bucket or water bottle and emptying that thing out as best that you can. We're always going to have. That's life.
It's life.
One night you don't sleep well. One night you might have cheated, have your cheat meal. You don't feel as great. Like, that's life. Mm-hmm. But when you have these tools, right? Hey, maybe doing some movement, maybe doing a vision drill. Maybe we get real weird, do some tongue drills. Like,
oh, right.
Yeah.
I've seen those too.
Yeah. All your pelvic floor stuff.
Yes.
This hole communicates with that hole. So
really? Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Swallowing, humming, gargling, all that's
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the opposing. We talked about opposing joints.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's
in there as well.
So overall, then, like, just maybe we can go back to the neurological drills for a moment.
Yeah.
We have drills with the eyes, drills with the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing anything? I mean, is there? I mean, you're talking about even adding different movements of your entire body to stimulate different areas too.
Yeah, I mean that's like the basics. There's eye tracking. One side. You could do the other side. There's tongue circles. People with more gut issues, stuff like that. That's where I'm kind of going with those people. Chronic pain. I'm doing more tongue circles. So a tongue circle would be tongue in the upper lip like so. And then you just draw a circle inside your mouth, hitting the cheeks, maybe even getting all the way back to your molars over there. Mm-hmm.
This is a gut health drill.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
And how often would people – I think this is a good place to take this. Can we talk about maybe some overall drills for different ailments? For people could just try right now. So let's just say this one you're talking about for digestive. It's the tongue in between the gum and the teeth in circles, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're just gonna go. I like to start 10 reps per direction, but some people this might be so off that they get really tired.
Tired?
After 5. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're like, oh my god.
Oh my.
Yeah. Just after 5 of them. Here's a wonderful test if you want to see if your
their partner is not happy.
Yeah, right. If you're there's a vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve
number 9
does 10. Close. Close. Vagus nerve does so much. It's like the data collector that tells the brain how everything going on in your gut and organs that keeps you alive, how they're doing. So if you want to know if your vagus nerve is doing its job, you should be able to swallow 3 times in a row without max 2-second delay in between. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I could do that.
You'd be surprised how many people.
Really? That's a vagus nerve check?
Yeah. Like, people will get to the first one and then they're like,
no way.
They can't do it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so vagus nerve, that can be damaged from many different things, viral infections. Maybe they have tonsillitis, like they had surgeries in there, all kinds of reasons.
What do you think we do? Do we think we take this and maybe do tests for the nerves, or do we do like common things to try for different ailments? What do you think?
Yeah.
Because that's a great test. That's cool. Try 3 swallows right now. You should be able to do it with maximum 2 seconds between each one.
Right. And then another one, like if we want to talk vision, I just, because if we think about that hierarchy, like vision, 150 million neural signals. So I like that one, especially knowing that in our world now, we don't use our eye muscles as much. So another good test, this is for cranial nerve 3. So you can take that object, pull it in toward the bridge of your nose, and then if that object ever splits, it's even better to like take a pen, something with the letters, so something like fine like that.
Right.
And if that splits, that means that, you know, you're going double and your eyes, your nerve isn't doing its job of
if
maintaining.
You see 2?
Yeah. So people will start to see 2.
So this is a test. Say it again what this test is for again.
Oculomotor, cranial nerve 3. And that's just testing to make sure that your eye, and you're actually going to go in between the eyes. Oh. So tip of the nose is trochlear, different nerve. Yeah, so you see his eyes doesn't quite stay on it. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Oh, but you see it starts to fatigue, right? That's all right. Now he's going to obsess over this. That was a better
exactly.
one. That was a better one. But again, and then that could be your pain problem, right? So if I have cranial nerve 3 problem, I have cranial nerve 10, vagus nerve problem, maybe stimulating those can help give you pain relief.
Right. What else? What other nerves or other?
So we talked about trigeminal. So I'll just go back to that one. It's clenching the jaw or the sensation on the face.
So trigeminal is making sure you have equal between both sides.
Yeah, sensation on the face, above the eyebrows, below the eyes, and along the jawbone.
And if they don't have equal sensation, that can be attributed. That can be what's the word I'm looking for? That can be linked with what type of conditions or impairments. Or
I know we like to think like, oh, exactly. You know, this is going to equal that. In general, it could help wherever your pain is.
Interesting.
Anywhere it is. So actually, let's roll into the I have a list here of pain target concepts that I wanted to go over to
these
help
are the 10 you were talking about.
To help people out. Yeah, there's 10 concepts. We won't go through them all, but this is the top 5. This is from Dr. Mosley and Dr. Butler, clinicians who just spent like their whole career on understanding pain.
Mosley.
Yeah, Mosley.
What's his first name?
Lorimer?
Okay.
Lorimer,
yeah, that's he's definitely.
Yeah, he's got a great book called Explain Pain Supercharged. And that's kind of where I pulled this, and I pulled it into my book. So target concept number 1, pain is normal, personal, and always real. All pain experiences are normal and are an excellent, though unpleasant, response to what your brain judges to be a threatening situation.
I love that. You know why?
All
because
pain is
so
real.
many people are told, it's in your head, it's this and that. No.
Yes.
It's
no,
real.
It's real.
If
exactly.
it's real to you, it's real.
Especially when they're talking to me, they're like, oh, so you're telling me pain's just all in my head? No, that's not what I'm saying. It is 100%
Is it in your
real.
head? Yes. But it's also real.
Yes. So don't, dismiss people in their pain. There are danger sensors, not pain sensors. The danger alarm system is just that, an alarm system. There are no pain sensors, pain pathways, or pain endings. Perfect example of this, all right? You stub your toe on a table, right? And we're like, ow, 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 oh my God, that was like the worst thing ever. And then you rub it real quick and then it goes away. Does that mean you broke your toe?
Right.
No,
of course.
It's just like it's an alarm sensor, like and brain pays attention to the feet
there
a
are
lot.
There are danger sensors,
not pain sensors.
Not pain sensors.
All right, and then that's going to roll right into 3. Pain and tissue damage rarely relates. So going back to that example, did you break your toe? No. Pain is an action signal and danger sensor that tells the brain that something is wrong. Pain levels and where pain signal has been sent, however, are often inaccurate.
What's that last line again? It is. I love this, by the way. I'm going to look more at this. Okay, you said pain levels and where the pain signal has been sent, however, are often inaccurate. What do you mean by that? What does he mean?
Bam. All right. Perfect example
here?
of that. So I think this is out of North Carolina. They took spine images of 3,110 people who are asymptomatic.
I've seen these I love this. I've seen these for different areas of the body, but I need this one.
Oh, yeah. So this is ages 20 to 80. And he's looking at a chart, and it's got things like disc degeneration,
and that's what
disc
people
bulge.
do. And this is the issue that
How
happens.
the heck do you say that one? I always mess it up.
Which one?
Spondylolisthesis. Okay.
Spondylolisthesis. You know what? My wife can't say it either. She's lisp it for sure.
That's so funny.
So what Abe showed me is that, and this is what generally MDs and doctors do. They go, your back hurts? Well, they're not going to do a test on you. They're going to go, let's get an x-ray.
Yeah.
And the x-ray shows, oh, you have degeneration. That's what's causing your pain. Boom. Is it though? But let's
do a surgery on that.
Yeah, let's do a surgery on that. But you've got, in this study right here, they studied, I don't know how many people, but they studied 3,100 people that have no back pain, and found that if you're 40 years old, 68% of people have degenerative disc disease.
Like what?
The way I look at degenerative disc disease now, it tells me where the biomechanical stress is placed upon the body.
Sure, yeah.
Now, there's also normal aging, right? Mm-hmm. If everything's wearing equally, that's good. But if you have disc degeneration at L5S1 and the rest of you looks good, I'm like, you're overly flexing somewhere. Lifestyle, somewhere.
Right.
But it often does not equal what the pain is or cause pain.
So that's what this is talking about.
This is awesome.
Pain doesn't equal injury, and injury doesn't equal pain. So my question, why do these people not have pain and the other people do, right? So that leads us to the next concept. Pain depends on the balance of danger and safety. You will have pain when your brain concludes that there is more credible evidence of danger than safety related to your body and infers the need to protect. Think about the balance of your stress bucket, right? So if that thing is filled up, increased pain levels. So these people, their stress bucket is probably low.
So we're talking about these people with pain. Now you're saying related specifically to this number right here, the balance of danger and safety.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So
this can be even more global, meaning that if somebody is under, let's say, significant emotional stress relationship, that bucket is getting that now. That area is overflowing.
Divorce.
That person is more likely to experience pain.
Yeah, and that's people that you'll see like random pain, right? Oh man, I don't know what I did. Their back is like aching. They're in. I've had so many people. I had one girl walk in, 10 out of 10 back pain. She had to be like dropped off. She couldn't drive. And dude, all I did after a bunch of testing, we did breathing drill, and she wore blue glasses. I can dive into that, but we don't need to. But she walked out pain-free, and she texted me the next day she went surfing.
Wow. Right.
And found out like she was stressed, relationship stuff, whatever. I just had to calm down her nervous system, and I did it with some breathing drills. I see. And some vision stuff, and we emptied out the bucket for a good amount. So the brain took off the pain signaling. I see. Because at the end of the day,
your brain took it off.
Right. So think of it as like you go into your car, you go into turn on your car, check engine light comes on. Oh man, you're like freaking out. What's wrong with my car? Oh my God, let me take it to the mechanic. He gets his diagnostic tool, and he's like, oh, it's right here in the, whatever.
Meanwhile, or the other way to do it is like comes on. I'm like, I'll deal with it when I deal with it.
Yeah.
My tires are getting done 20,000. Let's have a look at it then.
Yeah.
I'm less likely to have pain.
Exactly. So I wish the nervous system, when we have our check engine light come on, like a pain signal.
The people aren't so
I wish it was exactly, all right, that means you exactly did something in your left elbow. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So now we're talking about that. We can go into kind of pinpointing if you do have pain in that exact area or not. A good test is like, so let's say someone's having shoulder pain and they lift their hand up like this, and they could pinpoint, I have pain exactly when I do this range of motion, and it's this 1 to 10 scale, 6 out of 10 when I do this, right? So that's going to be somatic. That's within the body. That's one of the pain characteristics. So we know that, yeah, maybe we could do something over there.
Sure. Those are the most, when I see those are the most predictable. Those are the ones that I can help the most with my skills.
Yeah. No,
Someone's
for
like,
sure.
At my shoulder hurts. When I press up here, I feel it here. And when I don't, it doesn't. Okay, got it. I'm like likely biomechanical in nature. Obviously, there's other contributing factors to that as well.
Right. There's a million reasons. But then there's visceral. That's where it gets really interesting. So this is a person that comes to you and says, I don't know what I did. Okay, where does it hurt? I don't know. It's like kind of over here. Okay, like when, I don't know. It's really random. To me, I'm thinking that's a gut issue. So whenever our gut, the visceral, anything going on around our organs don't have nociceptors. Nociceptors are like threat receptors. You could think of them as pain receptors. And there's none on those organs.
Yeah, you could like stab a kidney with a knife and you wouldn't feel it if you could go under the skin. Yeah.
So these organs, when they're hurting, they refer the pain elsewhere. So right neck and traps, for example, if you have random pain there, I'm really curious about your liver and gallbladder. Your heart, that's going to be left pinky, left elbow.
Sure, that's like the classical angina, left arm.
Yeah. So
right trap. What are the other organ?
Head zones. Yeah.
You have that on here too?
Yeah, man. I got it all. Kidneys is going to be back pain. So the colors all relate.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Kidneys are going to be low back.
Kidneys, low back.
Which makes sense.
And generally the way that we teach it, well, maybe my back pain is coming from that. Well, usually if it comes from a lifestyle, like if you're like, hey, when I bend, after a long day of work, my back hurts over and over. But if I don't work, my back doesn't hurt. Well, we're thinking less kidney then, and we're thinking more ergonomics. But if it's just like randomly. But sometimes people also have what they think is random pain, but it's just because they don't have the body awareness to know.
Yeah, right. So that's when you start asking these questions. Hey, can you reproduce it? Or you do your testing, and you're like kind of finding something, but it's like really mixed results. That's when you're thinking more visceral. Yeah. So what can I do with that information? I could do sensory work on the kidneys, right?
Man, you've got me thinking. I'm actually going to go up. I had a client not too long ago, and man, his pain just didn't make sense. I need to go.
Visceral.
Yeah, maybe more visceral.
Or needs to sit down with a therapist. I don't know.
Right. Well, I can start
with some emotions out.
Can I have this thing? Can I have a copy of this? Do you mind?
Yeah. That's cool. So maybe they need to do that. Maybe they need to clean up. Hey, you hydrated, because kidneys and what's all involved with that.
If you have a kidney, sure.
Right. Liver, hey, you drinking alcohol,
right.
Or it's not detoxing like properly. So constantly eating foods that don't agree with their body. So many different things. So that's kind of where we go with the visceral concept. And the last one was pain involves distributed brain activity. There's no single pain center in the brain. Pain is a conscious experience that involves many brain areas. You know how many? There's another study. They hooked up, it was like ACL injuries. And everyone had the same injury and experienced pain in the same exact place. They hooked them up to a functional MRI. Every single person was different parts of the brain lit up, and there's 12 of them. This is the threat neuromatrix. So those are all the different parts of the brain.
Wow. So basically you have at least 12 areas of the brain that can detect or sense
pain. Yeah. Pain signals, increase them, decrease them. So
what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
What that means to me is pain is always personal and individual and unique, and you have to figure out what communicates with that own unique individual person with their pain. That's why assessing and reassessing is key. So I'm going to try a drill out, try a movement, any of the stuff you do. Try that out, and then compare it. If that didn't work, move on to something else.
And hey, in my audience too, and especially members out there watching, people that work with me one-on-one, if I'll get them down to be like, you know what, I think maybe, let me try to think of a recent example. Foot, knee, knee, back. Maybe it's an SI joint. Maybe I go, okay, I think this is your SI joint pain. And if you work on strengthening and activating and strengthening your transverse abdominis and rectus abdominis, and focus on that for 1 week straight. And if those results are positive, it gives you a cue. Yeah. It gives you a clue of not a clue. It gives insight in the direction that needs to go. If it doesn't, it just means that it still could be that, but it's right. There's likely maybe something else contributing, maybe from a biomechanical standpoint. Maybe it's the pelvic leveling. So maybe then they move to QL, pelvic tilt leveling, to more create better alignment on there.
Sure.
And so it is all of these exercises that I teach you guys out there as well, is to do them for a period of time and then to reassess. And if you get the results, it doesn't mean that just do that forever, because you're going to find out that because the body's connected, a single exercise, and the best example I ever heard, it's like giving somebody an ice cube to hold. They go, thank you so much. And eventually they're just like, it stopped working. I have no ice cube left. But it gives cue into the direction that the body must move into. And because the full body is connected, that abdominal exercise that helped your SI joint pain, if that helps, that also means you're going to need scapula to get it back. You're going to need thigh outward rotation and glute. So it just gives you a clue about the direction your body needs to move into. And I think you're saying similar for this, even though I forgot what you initially
It's 12 different areas of the brain that get lit up. We just experience pain differently.
Oh, we got to try things. That's what it was. It's like you got to.
There's going to be a different solution for every single person. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, even when I'm doing, my neuro stuff and I'm like doing drills, I'm like, I think I got it. Oh, I know how I'm going to do this. And then I try a drill and it like didn't work at all. I'm like, shit.
Right.
But then I've got infinite amount of tools to work with. So it's just, constantly, working. But, I typically get people out of pain pretty quick.
Because pain is also, is like, even the pain itself is in a way, because I don't have control. Even when I'm guided, I don't have control about how they're sensing pain.
Yeah,
I have no
control. You're not there all day, every day.
No, what I can do
be contextual too.
I can help them better understand their muscles, and because they have less fear, they tend to have pain less. If they know, oh my God, I don't know what it is. If you learn what muscles are there, the joints, you go, oh, it sounds like it's a muscle. You're less fearful of it. You can improve the mechanics. So generally, that sequence of things that I guide people through equals reduced pain. But the reduced pain is really, I think what you're saying is, it is personal to each person, and it is real to each person. And I think that's it's personal to each person. And I'm missing something at the end here with pain. It's almost like the sensation of what people do experience is also is related to the culmination of these other input systems that could be deficient as well.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll connect the dots for you even more with this last bit as we talk about gait and how people walk. So we already talked about the PMRF. So the PMRF, that's the pontomedullary reticular formation.
Hey, let's do it. Let's take a little pause.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back. I got a little energy, and I went in and talked to plumbers and just got sticker shock by what I thought was a small repair. Now is them literally coming in with a bulldozer and just flipping my house upside down and repiping it, then rebuilding the whole house back over again.
And now he has random back pain because his stress bucket went up.
Oh, you know what? I told you I felt it, and I go, all right. I actually feel surprisingly energetic after that conversation. I don't know why.
I'm hype.
Maybe I was talking to the plumber about his knee pain and his golf swing. So I was doing a little bit of that.
So then he was going to fix your pipes for free.
That's the thing.
This is a trade.
He's like, yeah, you'll get money from me. I'm like, dude, $40 a month on the app. You're going to have to be a member for a long time to equal these pipes.
Yeah.
What, 480 months? I don't know what the number is. It's a lot. It's a lot of months.
A lot of months.
We'll give him a sign of commitment. Like, you're on auto pay then.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that's how it goes sometimes. Shit happens, and then you just go, that's life?
That's life.
That's life.
That's life.
You live and you learn. Literally, I learned something with this thing I should have done when I bought the house. And so, next house I do, I'll go in a little more prepared. maybe share with some other people so they can figure it out too. And then continue on.
Check your pipes, people.
Check your pipes.
Yeah.
Especially those iron ones over 40 years old. If you have a house over 40.
They'll get you.
When you're buying a house, you make sure you get somebody over to the camera and run a camera through those fucking iron pipes. Okay? Remember that one. It'll save me
noted
40 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give Mike 5% commission on that.
Yeah, something back. Jeez. Okay, so where do we leave off at? We're moving on to gait, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, so we're talking about gait, and I'm going to bring up this weird dude named the PMRF, okay, the pontomedullary reticular formation. So that thing does 4 main things, all right? Number 1, it controls and inhibits pain on the same
ponto?
side.
My ponto.
Let's break it down, actually. Here's your brain stem. All right, that's the base of your brain, the stem. We're going to split it right, left side, okay? And at the top, we have the midbrain. That's going to involve cranial nerves 3 and 4, pons 5 through 8, and the medulla. All right, so there's a left and a right side. So now we're talking about the PMRF, so it's going to hang in that pons and medulla part. Pontomedullary, pons, medulla, reticular formation, a fancy way of saying just a grouping of neurons.
Oh, okay. Reticular formation is a group of neurons.
Boom. PMRF, PMRF, as I call it.
PMRF. All right.
So this PMRF, the PMRF, it controls or inhibits pain on that side. Okay.
Same side.
Yep, same side. So if we're trying to fix pain, maybe an idea is manipulating or stimulating cranial nerves 5 through 12 on that side to see if it relieves some pain.
Okay.
Also autonomics. So its job is to pump the brakes on heart rate and blood pressure. So decreasing heart rate, decreasing blood pressure for certain activities, making sure it's not the sympathetic tone. The increase of those things isn't too high. Number 3, posture. All right. We'll get into that a little more, but number 4 is a muscle tone. So, you need your muscles to contract or have a tone just standing and sitting. So it helps set global tone.
So what I'm hearing is
it's important.
Is maybe like inhibition or overactivation of the PMRF could result in postural issues, muscle tone issues. Someone's tight all the time.
Smart guy.
Someone who is like, hey, they're like, my posture is here.
Right.
Okay.
So now let's relate that to gait. Okay. So when I see people walk, I see a number of things. So biochemically, we can break it down like, okay, without yanking on this much. But let's say I walk with my hand turned in, with my shoulder turned in, right?
Okay.
And let's say you walk with your foot turned out as well,
okay.
Right? Ideally, we should walk with hand neutral, like in the middle, and the foot neutral. So why the heck is someone doing that? One idea, so your PMRF, muscles above T6, like mid-back, it's on the anterior muscles, so the front part of muscles above T6, the PMRF's job is to increase extensor tone. Pull the muscles back. So when someone has a PMRF problem, especially in the distal limbs, so like hands or feet, you will see things in the upper body turned in.
Because of more of a deactivation or an inhibited.
Sure. So it's the PMRF's not doing its job of increasing the extensor tone, pulling those muscles back to keep them neutral.
When you talk about extension, can we lump in external rotation as extension and internal rotation as flexion?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So the external rotator is not doing their job, okay? And who's controlling that? So now we're thinking deeper. Sure, it could be biomechanically, like breaking all that down, right? But if you think a little deeper, a little shortcut, hey, maybe somewhere within that PMRF, 5 through 12 is not doing their job of pulling that thing neutral. Now, same thing goes for the lower body, but opposite. So it's going to decrease extensor tone on posterior muscles below T6. So you could think of that as your butt muscle or the external rotator on the foot.
So on the lower, on the upper, this makes sense. Our PMFR.
PMRF.
PM,
PMRF.
our PMRF ipsilateral side would be like if I have internal, really common, very common. Many people, more people have internal rotation of the arm than external. I know almost nobody that's external.
Yeah. Right.
But you're saying that is going to be a decreased tone
The
throughout.
PMRF not doing its job of increasing extensor tone on that side.
And then in the lower body, what's
the lower body, decreased extensor tone. So it'll be an extension. That's why the foot is turned out. You follow? So it's opposite. I know.
It's opposite there.
Right. So easy simplification, arm turned in, leg turned out is a right PMRF issue.
I see they go together. Right foot turned out, right arm turned in
is a right PMRF issue. And that's why that person's walking like that.
So I've seen this, and there's Postural Restoration Institute. They've got some data with that.
They do good stuff.
They do good stuff, yeah. I'd love to get in there and simplify
what
they do. Yeah. Common terms, they're so good though. But I've seen more people have a right external rotation of the foot, include myself included. Much more people have right external rotation of the foot than they do left. So more of a valgus collapse on the right side. And I think they have data that shows that. I think they related it more to like organs. You know, you got something on one side of the body, you got your heart here. But that is a common misalignment that I see, is that one you're saying particular.
Yeah, and it's just one example. But so with that information, I always like to watch how people walk, because 95% of what we do all day, every day is subconscious, right? So if I see a gait like that and I try a drill and see their body subconsciously fix the issue and go into neutral like the way we want it, I know I'm on the right path without making them think about it.
Oh, geez. That's the dream right there.
Isn't that crazy? So, yeah, it's figuring out through health history or through cranial nerve testing, hey, where are some good ideas to stimulate that PMRF?
What are the most common that you would use to stimulate? What are the most common methods you would use to stimulate the right
PMRF? Yeah. So just looking at how, again, this is all health history, but we've used many other examples. Let's use a different one. Let's say gut issues, because let's face it, not everyone's nutrition is up to par.
Sure, gut issues. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm interested in some tongue drills to stimulate vagus nerve. So maybe we need to, so for right PMRF, I'm going to stick my tongue on the left cheek and maybe do some tongue circles over there to help with the PMRF. Now, again, why do we care about this? I'm not trying to fix a person's gait problem. I'm really trying to figure out how to fix their pain problem. So gait can be an assessment. Hey, if they walk better, all right, that's cool. That leads me on to test wherever their pain assessment was.
So you might use that as a tool to put you, but I mean, improving the gait, if it's biomechanical, right? Improving the gait will most often result in reducing the pain if the issue's there.
Right, because how many times we walk a day?
Yeah.
At the least 3,000.
At least
right?
3,000. This is 3,000.
Yeah, everyone's talking about 10,000, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting better input on every step 10,000 times a day.
So then you've got, okay, so that would be, because it's ipsilateral, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking about right side?
Yeah, we're talking about right. Right PMRF.
Right arm, right leg. But weren't we pushing the tongue on the left side of the mouth?
Yeah. So vagus nerve's a little funky one, but yeah, when you hit tongue on left cheek, it fires up right side. Yep. Neurology. But once you understand like the basics and the rules and the principles, it starts to really click.
How often would somebody feel this though?
Quick.
Like how long would it take for somebody to stimulate that before, if it was linked, before you could see or feel a difference?
Yeah. So I'll have people, hey, go for a walk. If I see like them walking a lot faster with, arms neutral the way we want it, I'm going to move back to their pain assessment. And I'll have people like go from a 9 out of 10 pain to pain-free. I'm like, okay, sweet. Do that 3 times a day. Was that simple enough?
Oh, gotcha.
Freaking, and some people are one and done. I've had clients 30 plus years of pain.
How could that be?
It's crazy.
How could that be?
So,
because it would seem like it would need continual stimulation to maintain that.
One would think. I think it all relates to each person's brain and how they respond to that stimuli. Maybe it's something they've been begging for 20 years, and oh my God, you finally hit it. Let me pump the brakes off that pain signal. Oh man, that's what I needed, man. Thank you. I've been trying to tell you. And now I'm on that gas pedal, and I relieved it. It's hard to say who's going to respond. We have super responders, and then people that do need to do it 3 times a week.
Yeah, I guess it goes same with what I teach too. I mean, the more, for me, generally, the more fit somebody is, the more aware of their body, the faster they're going to see results. Yeah. And maybe the least athletic somebody is, and the longer they've been a certain way, the longer. And sometimes it's sometimes the athletes take longer, but generally the time frame, some people, they feel results within a day. Some people it takes like 60 days. Right. I see like it's definitely we don't have all the answers. I know a lot of people, how many days? When do I feel it? It's just like
Well, that's the power of the assess, reassess protocol. Cause it's like, oh, well, you know what? I had shoulder pain when I did this. It was 8 out of 10. I did that drill and dude, I don't know what the heck you did. Right. It is a 1 out of 10 right now. And that gets you compliance. That gives that client hope and proof that it did something.
Yeah, they want to feel that. The faster we can get them some sort of result, the more they can see more hopeful they are about the future with that.
Right, and then it'll lead to them actually doing the work. That's why I've always loved your tagline, fix your shit, because you and your brain have to make these things happen.
No one's going to do it for you.
You can't exactly lie on a table, which is nice.
It's nice.
People doing, their massage and doing all the work for you, but is completely different.
You've heard that.
Do the work.
I was like, if you're laying on your body, if you are laying on your back like a carcass and someone's doing something to you, that's nice, and that's not fixing your shit. No. But sometimes it can be helpful. Like you could get off the table and go, wow, that acupuncture that gave me some new range into here that I didn't feel. Now let me utilize that new range. Or maybe once in a while, that surgery gave me some more range. Now I can get into that again. But just to go, all right, I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah, put in the work.
Yeah, put in the work.
Yeah, man.
Got to understand your shit.
Yes. So
what else do we have with gait?
So, that's PMRF. That's the big one. Looking for those cues.
Maybe muscle don't. There's some people that might say, maybe someone go, I don't know, I'm just always. I think a problem that exists is people just think the grass is green. They go, I'm tight. I need to be looser. Or maybe just overall, like for me, my joints tend to be wound a little tighter than most. Right? I tend to have a little bit below average joint mobility, and you get somebody with EDS might have hypermobility. Okay. So maybe how would you utilize something like this for somebody who's maybe tighter? Well, forget tighter joints. Just talk about maybe like upper trap, neck tightness. Did that come in play with PMRF?
Yeah, because PMRF is going to control the stability on those sides reflexively. So if you think about, we talked about survival and protecting, right? So if I'm about to like throw something right at your head, we have this reflex where it's like, oh my God, and you go straight to protecting your face and your organs, right? So if I see someone here in this protective point, I'm trying to figure out, why are you up here? And I hate to keep going back to it, but it goes back to that stress bucket, right? So can I come up with something, a drill that takes that tension down and gets them to relax? Things that are big, especially a chronic pain person. The vagus nerve's huge in parasympathetics. So our parasympathetics, we got our fight or flight, so sympathetic tone, and then we have our rest and digest. That's our parasympathetic, and that's going to decrease heart rate, decrease blood pressure. It's heavily involved in anti-inflammatory markers, so calming the nervous system down. So when I have someone that's like this all day, tight, chronic pain, I'm really interested in what's going on with that vagus nerve.
So would you say for overall, someone who's under, let's just say, a lot of people relate and think that they are more sympathetic, right? Yeah. So what are some overall things that people could do to, neurologically, to reduce to more stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system? What are some Is it targeting the vagus nerve? Is that a great place to start?
Great place to start with the tongue circles.
Yeah.
We could go humming. We can go gargling.
Humming.
Yeah. Those yogis, they were on to something.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or all the amazing breath work.
Gargling?
Yeah. Yeah, like violently too. Like,
really?
yeah, getting that throat to really.
Like that?
What was our vagus nerve test? Swallowing 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
And if I can't do that, my throat muscles probably are atrophying for whatever reason. So got to activate that. How do we do that? We can swallow. We can practice swallowing. But if you're literally not able to do that, humming and gargling is a great way to hit that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are great tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great for, it just seems like the culture we're in, the society, it just tends to lead to this sympatheticness, overstimulation of it that everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are ways I would calm that person down.
Humming.
And
Oh, yeah, right.
See, subconsciously did it.
Right.
Because talking about sympathetic just got you excited, so you had to calm yourself with a little
So I think it's probably a good place to wrap it. Is there anything else we want to?
Yeah, so I wanted to connect the dots at the end and just drive home the point of whatever you got going on, find an assessment and then reassess it when you try something new. So if you're going through his wonderful app and all the drills that you've got in there, all the exercises, compare it. How's my back pain before and after? I always like a discomfort assessment. So I kind of feel it when I do this, and a pain assessment. Oh, I really feel it when I do this. And don't move to retesting that pain assessment until your discomfort assessment is a 0. And then the number one way I try to just rule out, hey, is it a sensory problem? So make sure things feel the exact same on both sides because of that brain feeding pattern. So if that rules in or out, great. If that helped decrease your pain, awesome. If it didn't and you feel things the same way, awesome. Like now we move on to maybe tongue drills, maybe vision drills, maybe breathing drills, any of these things. And then at the end of the day, what's the main goal? Just try to wrap your brain around, again, the stress water bottle. Decrease what's in there. How's your sleep been? Is it shit? Are you not getting 7 hours plus? Maybe let's try to work on that. How's your food? Are you constantly eating things that bug your gut? Super gassy, stomach aches, all that? Maybe stop doing that. These are all things that can affect that pain signaling.
Got it. And so that goes back to the way your body feels.
Yep.
The way
the inputs, right?
The inputs, right?
Sense well, move well, feel well.
Feel well. Sense well, move well, feel well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the name of my company is 3-in-1 Elite, and I call it 3 Systems, 1 Athlete. So that's the 3 systems that we overall build to make one elite athlete. And it could be an office athlete too. I don't discriminate.
Sure.
So, hey, we all need to perform well at our jobs, right? Like
Nike's quote, if you have a body, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
I think that's
I love that.
whole,
I didn't know that. Yeah. I love that. So yeah, man, that's what we're out here. I love everything that you're doing, and hopefully putting the pieces together on neuro-wise, because no matter what, we're all doing neurology.
Sure.
Whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. So hopefully you learn that how you're really helping people is proprioceptively and interoceptively with the breathing, with the awareness. So that's cool.
So, okay. So how do, I appreciate that summary. That makes sense. And so you have your book, and your book again is called
Fuel Your Performance.
Fuel Your Performance. You can find that on Amazon or on your website.
Yeah.
And so how are people going to find you?
Yeah. So Instagram at Abe _Al. We talked about the daddy. Abe, full circle. Abe _AL _Baba, or my company at 3-in-1 Elite. So that's the number 3, the word NIN, the number 1 Elite. And I have an online program where it's putting all this together. I call it applied neuroscience. So we kind of go through, all right, what do you have going on neurologically? Give you your unique drills that make you perform awesome or take away your pain. And it's just weekly check-ins, and it's workouts that are all geared. All right, we do some funky joint drills, we do some vision drills, but then we do normal exercising. So for example, if you got right PMRF issues, if I work you out on your left side, what's going to happen is your right PMRF gets stimulated for stability and posture. So to fix your right-sided pain, maybe you just need to work out on your left side.
Damn. I mean, I feel like we're just literally scratching the surface of this today.
Yeah, let's
brilliant.
not fry everyone's
You're
brains.
very intelligent and obviously knowledgeable with this topic.
I
and hope
appreciate
is this. I'm super happy that you came here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And I know we got a couple delays, but thanks for being here. And I think this is hopefully it's a next step for us to like get closer and like kind of work more hand in hand.
Yeah,
on these.
absolutely.
I think this is great.
We complement each other so well.
Oh yeah.
So well.
Oh yeah, completely. This is an area to, if we were to integrate something like this into the movement, it just adds a new dimension in there, which is only going to upside.
Yeah, and help.
Yeah, and only
everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep helping people.
So guys, make sure you follow Abe, check out his website, get his book, and if you like him, set up an appointment with him. I'm sure everything's on there to do that. And thank you guys for tuning in and staying here, and we appreciate all of you. And as always, go fix your shit.
Fix your shit.
Fix your shit.